Hi, Thierry Roche here, host of Talk Radio's Inside Real Estate with your Insider Secret number 7. This one's going to be packed full of information, massive ways to save a lot of money with a lot of different strategies. I wanted to get this all into one short video. It's not going to be as short as the other ones, so I'm going to warn you ahead of time, but it's really important. So, simple ways to read the broad real estate market to find deals and profit from hidden trends. We're going to talk about 4 things here. So, let's take a larger overview of the real estate markets. We're going to describe how to read the broad real estate market, how to profit from hidden trends. Real estate trends are never national trends. Even though you'll read and hear in the media, oh, the real estate market's up or the real estate market's down, there's absolutely and totally irrelevant to you. Real estate's always local. There are many cities and markets that are going up in value at the same time other markets are actually going down in value. You can even see these disparities within different areas of the same city. So it's critical for you to understand what drives these increases and what drives these decreases so you can keep money in your pocket or make money. There are different types of economic engines that will facilitate these market changes. Economic engines are very large industries or segments of jobs. It's what brings jobs in or takes jobs out of an area, and it's the job market that will bring people in or out of our area too. This in turn changes the demand for housing, and it's all about supply and demand. Okay, there's 4 types of real estate markets. 4 types you need to know about in real estate. You'll need to know and how to understand in order to get the best type of deal, that is. There's the buyer's market and the seller's market, which most of you have probably heard about. But there's the buyer to seller transition market and then the seller to buyer transition market. So in a buyer's market, it means buyers are in control. There are more homes for sale than there are buyers on a ratio basis. But in a seller's market, it's the opposite. In a seller's market, of course, sellers have control. Prices are usually going up in value or have gone up in value, and there are fewer homes for sale than there are buyers who want to buy them. But a seller to buyer transition market means that a particular regional housing market has already gone up in value, the ratio of buyers to sellers has evened out more, and there are many other aspects that go into making, of course, seller to buyer transition market. We don't have time to discuss it. However, suffice it to say, the ratio has averaged out, and now prices are not going up, they're actually going down. Generally, a seller's market can last 3 to 5 years. Buyer's market can last, well, even more, sometimes as much as 15 years. Buyer's markets generally last the longest. A seller to buyer transition market generally only lasts a matter of months, maybe as much as 1 or 2 years. And finally, there's the buyer to seller transition market. The buyer to seller transition market is when it used to be a buyer's market, but inventory is rapidly being depleted and sellers are starting to gain control again. Then we'll start to see prices firm up and possibly even start to move up. If you can predict when these types of markets are about to unfold, you can make huge money by knowing how to act in a particular type of market. This is what the insiders do. So, what constitutes a good opportunity or a good buy? Well, here's how it works. In a seller's market or in a buyer to seller transition market, if you bought a house for $200,000 and your neighbor bought his house for $200,000 3 months prior to your purchase, then you got a good deal. The reason is because you didn't pay any appreciation in market price, even though the market went up. You didn't pay over what he paid, even though it went up in value in that 3-month period. So, if you can imagine a chart or a graph starting from the left to the right with a value line sloping up, upwards to the right side, that is, this would represent the home value changes as time progresses. So by the time that you bought the home, you should be paying $205, $210. But by only paying $200, which is what your neighbor paid, a few months prior, you actually bought below the market value line that had already gone up, which has gone up in the value within that time period. Now, in a buyer's market, if you pay what your neighbor paid 10 months prior, well, that's pretty much to be expected, because in a buyer's market, as I said, the market value line really usually just remains stable and goes across. As that price graph depicting the change of a home's value, it doesn't show the value line sloping up or down from the left to the right. It just stays flat over time. So if you bought below what your neighbor paid on the value line, if you bought below, you would actually be paying below market value. If you paid the same, then you would have been buying right at the market value of the property. In a seller's to buyer's transition market, when housing prices are actually falling and quite rapidly, if you paid $200,000, yet your neighbor paid $200,000 a few months prior, you actually bought above market value, even though you paid the same as he did, because the market value line has dropped in that time. If the market value line is well, in the previously mentioned graph, dropped to 190, and you actually paid, 200,000, you paid $10,000 over price. So it's really important to understand these types of markets and how the market value plays a role within those markets, because most buyers don't understand it till it's after the fact. Okay, here's the real estate insider prediction tool to predict these markets. It's called the list to sale ratio. It's another critical tool in understanding the real estate market overall and the profits and how to profit from these trends. The list to sale ratio is our barometer of when the market's about to change. You know the 4 types of markets now, but when do they change? How can you tell when they're going to change? Here's an example. Let's say there's 100 homes in the market for sale in a particular jurisdiction, and let's say 10 of those homes sell in a month. That's a list to sale ratio. It's always calculated monthly, by the way, of 10%. 10% list to sale ratio means that 10% of all the available listings went to sale. That's generally considered a buyer's market. Anything below 15 or 20% is a buyer's market on a list to sale ratio scale. Now, conversely, if 50% of all the listings sold in a month, in this case 50 homes, in a particular jurisdiction, that's a 50% list to sale ratio. That's a strong seller's market. Seller's market, by the way, never goes to 100% because many of the listings are overpriced. Many of them are ugly, many of them are pure junk, and many of them shouldn't be on the market in the first place. So if 50% sell in a month, that's quite impressive indeed. If you're in the middle of a buyer's market and all of a sudden the list to sale ratio changes from 15% up to 30%, that's an indicator that we might be coming into a changing market. Might. Now, markets don't change in a month in real estate. It's a lumbering marketplace. It doesn't move along or change as quickly as the stock market changes. However, if we have a trend and we see a consistent uptick or downtick in the list to sale ratio over a 3-month period, we formed a trend, and those trends rarely reverse in real estate. They generally lumber along and merge into the next market type. Unfortunately, most people don't see it till after it's happened. We can actually predict it now. So when you see the trends changing, that's a good opportunity to jump into the market and buy if you can time your purchase with that. I'll give you an example. If a house sold for $200,000 in January and there's a 15% list to sale ratio in that marketplace, and it's been holding at 15% list to sale ratio on average for the last couple of years. Then all of a sudden you see a 25% list to sale ratio in the next month, which is February. And then the following month, in March, it's 28% to list to sale ratio. Following the next month by 26% list to sale ratio in April, then you have confirmed an established trend. After such a confirmed trend, it would be a great opportunity to buy the house even at $200,000 in January, because you would be buying below market value because you know where the market value line is going to be. The reason it's below market value at $200,000 is because prices are starting to move up since the time the home sold in January. So if you bought the home 3 months later in April, you'd likely be paying $210 or $215 because of the new price appreciation and in the upward moving buyer to seller's transition market. But instead, you only paid $200. So it's like being able to foresee the future for 2 to 3 months at a time. So you've actually bought below market value just by timing your purchase. In this case, made $10,000 to $15,000. Now, remember to be wary of a 1 or 2 month list to sale ratio change without a third confirming a month of that ratio change, as that could just represent an anomaly. Now, there are many other ways to use these tools and apply them to individual neighborhoods as well. This is not a game for the novice to apply, obviously, on their own. Reading these markets takes a lot of experience, so don't be afraid to ask your buyer agent before you'd agree to work with them if they have this skill set. If they don't, find someone else who does. This could literally put tens of thousands in your pocket. Now, you can find out more about how we're currently using insider strategies learned from my real estate radio show to save home buyers tens of thousands of dollars on their home purchase and financing every day right here in Northern Virginia. Just check out my free live online webinar at www.homebuyerinsidesecrets.com. That's homebuyerinsidesecrets.com. You can also get all these insider techniques done for you and applied to your own personal home purchase with our free Insider Access Homebuyer Savings Program and get a minimum guaranteed savings of $25,000 or more. And the best part is we guarantee you save at least $25,000 with my exclusive strategies, plus the service is no cost to you. So go to homebuyerinsidesecrets.com and find out why even other realtors and other mortgage lenders actually use me as their buyer broker on their own personal home buying transactions instead of relying on themselves.